Hiya Stephen, lovely to meet up with you yesterday. As I said, we'll spend the morning working on your game. Just a quick recap on the key points relating to your full swing. Now, we did a little bit of recapping on a few various things, and we talked about maybe not setting the wrists enough. That was one key move, and largely worked on the extension during the downswing. We also discussed some other things such as firming up the wrist angles to impact. You can see there's a little bit of a scooping effect as you come through. And we talked about the stance line, etc. So we covered quite a lot in the morning we spent together. But the key areas we wanted to improve on, and these are the areas really that are more appropriate to the shots that you're hitting at the moment, are first of all, the position of the right foot at setup needs to be flared out more, as we see here in the top centre screen. So we'd want right foot flared out more. We then want to see the wrists set earlier, so by P3, when the left arm is parallel with the floor, we'd want to see a fully set shaft, if you will, fully loaded wrist. When we look at it from down the line, club tends to work back a little bit too much up that elbow plane line. Gets very across the line at the top. There's a little bit of, notice how there's a little bit of loss of height as well. Your head in the box goes forward and down. And we did discuss that over the past few years, every time you've tried to change something, you've done it or improve your golf, you've tried to do it by improving the backswing, because that's what you have the best knowledge of. So you've really gone overboard on the rate at which that right leg straightens. If you watch that from down the line, the right leg should be straightening incrementally from P1 to P4. So losing, let's say, 7 degrees of flex, a further 7 degrees of flex, and then a final 7 degrees of flex. Now, what we see with yourself is someone whose leg is pretty much dead straight by P2.3, and then by P4 that right leg just hyperextends everything. The left tilt, the side bend to the left, the extension is just a little bit overdone, and that's why the head goes down and forward at the top of the backswing. So I'd like to see you just back off on the basic stuff during the backswing, the turn, the tilt, the extension, etc. Just relax it a little bit. You're doing way too much of that. And focus a little bit more heavily on loading the wrist, but then also your ability to tuck the hips in the downswing and through swing. You can see there are a lot of flexing forward going on through the golf ball. In the upper body, in the pelvis, in the knee, and in the ankle. And you talked in the clubhouse before we started the session about an inability to push or use the ground to create power. You felt that you weren't moving up out of the ground, and we can see again when we look at it from down the line, our inclination to the ground is the red line down the spine. You can see as you come through a big flex forward. I mean, you've dropped down there several inches again on the through swing. And anybody who flexes forward so much, you can see there, is going to have a club that's attacking the ball out to in, with a club face that's on occasion closing down very quickly. You can see again, dividing the elbows, flexing the wrists on the way through. So setting the wrists, controlling the length of the swing, and learning to extend were the key areas that we wanted to look at. What we've done here first of all early in the session is we've put the ball, approximately 4 balls back in the grid that's laid down on the mat for you. Now with the ball 4 balls back, you now have to extend to bring the club out of the ground. We've turned the right foot out a little bit as well. And what we're also doing here is concentrating on the key aspects of your backswing. We're going to load the wrists first, then we're going to load, if you will, the forearms, accumulate a 3. We're going to rotate the forearms, and then we're going to swing the arms. So what we're doing is the pieces that you're struggling to achieve are being put in there very, very early. You can see there now a marked difference at P3 in regards to the amount of wrist cock that we have. So ball's well back in the grid, and then we're just going through the process of the key moves that we need. So we're going to go load the wrists, rotate the forearms, swing the arms back. Much tidier at P4 there as well. Not as much dividing of the elbows. Still a little bit long, but not as much dividing of the elbows. On the way through with the ball back, you took to this pretty quickly. The key thought was to keep the arms straight and tuck the hips. And as you came through, the grid sort of helped you do that. See, the arms are straighter and there's less flex forward in the pelvis, in the spine, in the knee, and also in the ankle. So learning to extend by using the grid. The other extension drill we used was with a medicine ball. When we do this, we just drop the shoulder down, and then you see there, he's just overdone it a little bit. You're really good at getting things inside, and then from there try and feel like you're going to throw this ball over a fence that's approximately 10 feet high in front of you. When you do that, you can see you're pushing up off the ground, extending and tucking the hips. So remember, that's the linear look, is a combination of hip slide and then extension. You can see as you tuck the hips and you push up off the ground, the hips keep moving forward. Now we're fully extended past 0. So here we're maintaining forward bend. Here we're starting to extend to 0. And here we're extending beyond 0, and we're talking about how that would affect the flight of your golf ball. And this here is where you absolutely nailed it. You illustrated your key feels really well here. Fully load the wrists, control the length of the arms, tuck hips on the way through. Mike Bennett, eat your heart out. That's fantastic right there. So that was your key feels, were absolutely nailed in that demonstration. We want to load the wrist fully, control the length of the arm swing, and then feel like we're going to tuck the hips on the way through. If you keep doing that, you're going to move away from this very quickly, as you can see here, and keep progressing towards this. So these top 3 images are your evolution as a golfer. This is where we started, this is where we finished, and this is where we'd like to be. On your hard drive, or your USB drive that I gave you on the completion of your session yesterday, I did the comparison of those 3 swings, and then I posted it onto my Facebook forum, and just as a bit of feedback for you, Andy Plummer emailed me this morning and was absolutely over the moon with that work. So a bit of praise, a bit of high praise indeed there from the director of the board, and I just thought it'd be nice for you to feed that back to you. I'll add you on Facebook this afternoon, and I'll follow this up with an email just to see how things went yesterday. Great session, lovely to meet you, and hope we can do it again when you next visit the UK. Well done.